And you'll see, even with, whatever sport or whatever she wants to do, you'll do anything for your kids. You know that. And
Yeah.
you also learn their personalities. And listen, I have no idea how many more clients you'll get over time, but you're a really good man, Anj. And like, you can't tell on the internet just by hearing someone's voice. But as a dad, you kind of can just tell when someone just seems like a genuine person when you talk to them. So when we first spoke and everything, like I told you, I just thought personality wise on video, you see, but I've seen you at the camps. I've seen you with even with Reed and whatnot. You're just a good man. Obviously, your knowledge is great. And look, I'm not a catcher, so I don't know necessarily how great it is, but you resonate with young people in a way where you give these kids confidence. There's no dollar amount that a parent wouldn't, if that's what the kid wants. So I hope you take off, man. I'm happier for you than you are for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
If you hear another parent talking, about how amazing you are, that means more than, some baseball coach saying Anj is awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can do to help you grow anything. Just don't even ask. Just tell me when.
So what would you say the big problem or challenge that you were trying to solve when you first reached out to me?
I would say without question, the biggest challenge was my son just didn't have a lot of confidence in himself. And while he had other coaches that had caught in high school and knew the position, it was the fundamentals and it was the sort of cycle of failure because he didn't know the technical aspects of the position. And because he was having failure and not success the way he thought he should, it just continued to spiral where he kept losing confidence in himself. And it turns out it wasn't necessarily his ability or his skill. It was just not knowing the absolute basics of the position to help him get in the right spot to make the plays that he was hoping to make.
That's awesome. So what was your first experience like with the lesson that we had done and then even the virtual coaching that we had done too?
Without a doubt, my eyes were just as wide as can be. And I was blown away because usually when you have private lessons, you're expecting, I'm going to throw you 500 balls and we're going to, it seems to be more of the rote part of learning. And when we did our first lesson and I observed Teddy with you, you guys didn't even have the glove out. It was as simple as hand placement. And it was as simple as teaching them to understand a process where they could start to feel good about it. And I forgot the exact line you used, but we're going to celebrate process, not just outcomes. And I think what makes your program and makes the lessons with you so unique is that you're connecting with these kids in a way where clearly they're learning the essentials to grow and become the catchers they want to be, but you're doing it in a way where their confidence and their beliefs in themselves just takes off concurrently with the lessons. And that's all I was trying to say. Normally, when you have a private lesson, the coaches will give you the technicals, they'll give you the fundamentals, but it is still sort of an outcome-based approach. And with you, Anj, it's not. Whether you're an 8-year-old or a 12-year-old or wherever you are in your career, it's so rare to be able to find that. And I think that's been, without a doubt, the biggest thing that's helped my son.
Wow, thank you. So we've been working with Teddy for almost 2 months now. What would you say if you had to describe the before and after? I mean, we're still just getting going, but if you had to describe so far 2 months of work, what does that change look like?
Simple. Before, when he would get behind the plate, he was hoping to have success, but more importantly, he was just hoping to avoid failure at all aspects of catching, blocking, framing, being able to have the right stance. Now, in less than 2 months, when he gets behind the plate and he's playing against kids that are 3-4 years older than him now, he is expecting to be in the right spot and he understands where he wants to be. And regardless of the outcome, whether he blocks the right way or he has a strong arm to frame, he himself believes that he can get into the right position. And you can just see in his body language and you can see in his movements. He knows what he's trying to do now.
That's so cool. That's so cool. As we think about the daily homework that he's been doing and the feedback, what's something that has really stuck out to you from that? And how important do you think that has been to his development?
Again, I didn't get to play baseball beyond junior varsity, but what's obvious is it's a game of failure. Everybody knows that. To be able to teach kids to mentally approach fundamental aspect of the position or a drill or a technique, where I see the value in the mental side of it, is that he can take a step back. He can focus on the thought process and the approach. And I think that's another big piece of his confidence now. He's just in the right frame of mind. And I think you said once, no one is born a great catcher. It is such a no human being is born with a predisposition to be an all-star professional level type catcher. But that also teaches him and shows him, if he works at it, the mental and physical side of it, he has a chance to be the catcher he wants to be. So aside from the drills, the fundamentals, the personal touch that you have where these kids believe in themselves, being able to mentally think about the position and understand that failure isn't a loss, failure is just a part of your growth and your learning process, that gives him the confidence to deal with some adversity, but keep moving forward, because he knows it's part of the learning piece of the position that he would never have gotten just from me or any of the other coaches he had, and no criticism against the other coaches. He learned that from you.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. What has it meant to you as a dad, seeing your son grow, believe in himself, get the tools, skills that he needs in order to succeed?
Best way I can describe it is I just feel tremendous happiness, but it's happiness for him. It's not about my son looks good behind the plate in front of other parents. My son stands out and now people are talking about him in a good way. It's seeing the smile on his face. And one of the things that I think I may have said to you, but I certainly had observed, is the last 2 years, I just didn't see him smiling as much on the baseball field. I think he was really hard on himself. I think he put way too much pressure on himself. And probably for the first time, and maybe since T-ball, that laughter, that smile, that joy from playing baseball is back. And it's just a happiness for him. And that's what it means to me. I was afraid I was going to, my wife and I were starting to lose him from a confidence standpoint. He was just hard on himself with school and the lessons he's learned with you, Anj. It's gone beyond baseball. It's how he approaches other sports, how he approaches his homework and things at school. There's just a sense of happiness that my son believes in himself again. And that's been the biggest takeaway.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay. Last question. Who would you say would be a good fit for this one-on-one coaching experience? What type of parent would you say? What type of kid would you say? Paint that picture a little bit.
Sure. I think for a parent, and this will sound silly, any parent that believes in their child, that believes that their child has potential, that believes that their child wants to learn to play baseball, or specifically catching, needs to call you right away. I'm not going to say that enough, that if you have faith and belief in your child as a player, they will flourish under your tutelage and in your program. What I'm saying is, parents that want to give their kids the best chance to be successful as a catcher, at a minimum, whether you're 8 or you're 13, about to start high school and you've already been an all-star level catcher, I think the growth that players are going to gain from you, again, from a mental and physical side of it, it's so critical given all the pressures that are on youth athletes, especially as they move up in the intensity of baseball in high areas like Southern California and the pressure that comes with that. I think what you teach these kids, it can't be measured by anything more than the growth they're going to get as young people. So that's the first one. For catchers, again, and my son was just learning the position. I think it is such a wide range. I think if you're an all-star catcher who was on a travel ball and perfect game, or you made whatever level of baseball you've been playing, the technical side of the position we can always get better at. And I think that's what a high level performing catcher is going to gain from you. But my experience was on the other end, someone young, someone learning, someone who wasn't really fundamentally sound. Any kid that wants to learn how to play the position and wants to learn it the right way absolutely is going to thrive in your program.
Well, man, thank you, Frank. Those are some high words and are not taken lightly. So thank you so much, man.
Of course, of course. Well, good luck with the rest of your lessons, my friend, and we'll talk soon.